Welcome back. I actually wanted to also share something that I've been wanting to share for a while and means a lot to me and is dear to my heart is my mom's passing. She literally died 3 different times over 3 years. And always was around her birthday. I believe the first time I was actually here in Mount Shasta and she was in Sedona, and my friend had told me that she had been in bed for 5 days and hadn't smoked any cigarettes and hadn't eaten any of her Necco wafers. I love you, Mom. Or drank any water. And I was getting ready to take my trip to Machu Picchu. And when I got down to Pasadena, I got on the phone with my mom. And she's like, "Oh my God, you know I went to heaven and I have no fear right now. And I feel so close to God. And I feel like I'm right with you. And I'm so excited for your trip to Peru." And I was like, "What did you do with my mom?" And it was her higher self that was still present. And I didn't know if she would be alive when I got back from Peru because I was gone for 21 days. And when I got back, she was still alive, but her personality self kind of was back, watching television all the time. And so I came back to Sedona, and I was, sharing her apartment with her, and it was basically another year, and then she had a moment where she was dying, and then my sisters came out, and she was in the hospital, and my sister said to me, Mom asked us if it was okay if she went. And then I was with my mom after my sisters had gone, and she said, and she was like this little child, and she's like, "Would it be okay if I go?" And I'm like, "Mom, yeah, of course it would be okay, to go." And so I'm watching television with her, and a television show, I think, was Grim Reaper was on, and another title or something, Lights Out. And so when I left my mom, I thought, "Oh, she's gonna die tonight," and she didn't. And I then saw my mom, and my mom said to me privately, she said, "Your sisters don't want me to go." And I was like, why did they change their mind? That's kind of not nice for my mom, who wants to go. And I said something to my sisters, and they said, we didn't tell her she couldn't go. And I was confused by that. And so then she was moved to a rehab place, a nursing facility. And I think maybe days had gone by. She made it her birthday, and then my one sister's taking my other sister down to the airport, and it's the afternoon. I'm sitting by my mom's bed, and it's sunny out, and she's like, "It's time for me to go. God will take care of us." And she repeated, "Hallowed be thy name," the Catholic mantra that my mom grew up with, but she had really detached from the Catholic religion her whole entire life. And then she just went out, and the doctor came in. My sister came back, and the doctor was like, Nancy," and he's like, "Your mom is leaving." And so for 3 days and 3 nights, my mom kind of was, I guess, in a coma, you would say. She was wailing. She was making loud sounds. I held her, and my friend Tara at the time was sending Reiki. And a friend of a friend said she was going through the Bardo experience, life review. And the reason why she was wailing was because in a life review, you get to experience what it was like to be the other person. And so she experienced what it was like to be me or my sisters as children when she was our parent. And our childhood was not a very happy childhood. My mom, she had lots of anxiety, and she had alcoholism. And so she, I guess, experienced what it felt like to be me, who was always trying to rescue and save my mom. I grew up believing it was my job to save my mom and make her happy, make her feel better. And so on the third night, all of a sudden I just happened to be there. On the third night, my mom's eyes opened up. I'm like, Mom! Because I didn't expect her coming back. And she was like, oh, I've gone beyond Nancy, and the light is wonderful. And then she'd be like, oh my God, I'm going back out again. And she close her eyes, and then she opened her eyes like a minute later, and she's like, I see angels, and oh, I see this piggy face man. And I'm like, Mom, don't be scared. And I find out that my Aunt Jenny, who had passed a number of years before, from her daughter, I found out later on that Aunt Jenny collected pigs, statues. And so Jenny had a sense of humor, and she was playing with my mom. And then my mom said, I told your dad you would be okay. And my dad's still alive, and basically her soul was communicating to my dad's soul on a higher level. And then she said, oh, they don't want me to go. And I said, who, the angels? And she said, your sisters. And then I understood. Back at the hospital, my mom's soul communicated with my sister's souls, and they were not ready to let go of my mom. And then she told me many things. I think at that moment she said, there is no birth and there is no death. And I understood what that meant. It means creator consciousness is what we all are. And the creator is neither born or neither dies. It always exists. And then my mom was looking at me, and then she was like, oh. And I'm like, what? She's like, your nose just moved up your face. And I'm like, Mom, that's okay. Everything's energy. You're just seeing the energy of who I am. And don't be afraid. And she told me a lot of things. She saw parts of my soul, and then she said, oh, you're meant to help me with my voyage. And I knew it was meant to help her with her passing. And then she kept going in and out, and she's like, oh my God, I just want to come back into physical form. And so she dropped back in, and then she basically lasted a whole nother year. And then 2 months later, she was up and about, and my friend and I were visiting her. She would have these moments. She would expand out, and then she would come back into physical body. And all of a sudden, she pointed to Rachel, and she says, you're not pregnant anymore. And like, what? Did not know she was pregnant. And then 2 days later, she's crying on the phone, hemorrhaging. And she was pregnant, and she lost the baby. So there was a presence that was coming into my mom. And then another time we were outside, and I'm my mom was pretty quiet after that second time she died. And then she said, "Oh, the pilot has anxiety." And I'm like, "What pilot?" And then I heard this little airplane flying above. And I'm like, "Mom, are you saying you could feel the energy of that pilot?" And she's like, "Yes." And she exuded also the innocence of child, that pure essence, that pure love. And the CNAs and the nurses, they were receiving healings from the energies that were coming through my mom. And I got to experience such a beautiful, beautiful gift. After seeing my mom for years of having anxiety and stress and worry and fear, I got to see her as a little girl. And she would get so excited about little things like ice cream. The activities people took her to the casino and said, "Oh my God, your mom, she got so excited with having a milkshake and French fries." And that's actually what we all, when it comes to going back home within ourselves and connecting deeply with God, it's that innocence of child that we all have, that we all are. So she lasted another year, and again, around her birthday, she made it to her 80th birthday. And I think I'm going to kind of complete it there, and maybe have another video about the specialness of all the different magical things that happen on the day of her passing, that I will share maybe in a different video later on. So I wanted to share and also how I could feel my mom after she passed. I could feel her on me, on my shoulder. I could feel the bliss of her coming into me, and she gave me messages. And and I want to also just let everyone know, after a couple years of grieving one's passing, one does not need to continue to be in grief. That grief can be energetically, if not from the person itself, from an energy healer, from anyone that can bring in the light, can help to clear that grief, and you do not have to be suffering the passing of your loved one anymore. So thank you for listening and coming to this channel, and I'm very grateful to be able to share that with you. Thank you. Have a beautiful, blessed day.